On January 28, 1986, the world watched as NASA's Challenger space shuttle exploded shortly after liftoff. The world mourned the loss of the 7 astronauts who were on board. However, 20 years later, investigators would discover that the 7 crew members never actually boarded the shuttle that fateful day. Now I know what you're thinking. You're ready to call bullshit on this one, but let me stop you right here. The evidence that you are about to see will absolutely blow your mind. Sure, you've probably heard a dozen media outlets calling this a cookbook conspiracy theory, but nothing could be further from the truth. Many people remember watching the explosion happen live on television, I myself being one of them. There is no doubt in my mind that the explosion was very real. In this video, we will examine footage from various sources that not only prove that 5 of the 7 Challenger crew members are alive and well today, but will also shed light on the possible reasons why they were not on board. 3 of the 5 astronauts, Judy Resnik, Richard Scobie, and Michael J. Smith. These 3 crew members were not only found to be alive, but they were still using their original names. You may be wondering, why wouldn't they change their names? And the answer is relatively simple. Their names were not too well known, and in 1986, living under the radar was much easier prior to the internet age. Is it possible that these 3 astronauts could have living doppelgangers that just so happen to have the same names? Not likely, and here's why. Although Michael J. Smith is a common name, the names of the other 2 astronauts, Judy Resnik and Richard Scobie, are exceptionally uncommon. For example, there are only 6 women currently living in the United States with the name Judy or Judith Resnik, and there are only 16 men named Richard, Rick, Rich, or Dick Scobie. What are the chances that all 3 of these astronauts would have living doppelgangers with the same names? I'll let you ponder on these odds for a moment. The other 2 astronauts, Ronald McNair and Ellison Onizuka, both supposedly have living twin brothers named Carl McNair and Claude Onizuka. However, no birth records could be found for either one of them. What's even more interesting is this. Let's take a look at this footage from then-President Ronald Reagan's memorial service for the Challenger crew. Here we can see the parents and siblings of Ellison Onizuka. But where is his living twin brother Claude? And here we can see the family of Ronald McNair, but his living twin brother Carl is nowhere to be seen. The reason Carl and Claude were not in attendance for their deceased brother's memorial is the same reason why there are no birth records for either of them. They do not exist. An investigator tracked down Challenger pilot Michael J. Smith and conducted a field interview, which he later posted on social media.
Is Challenger pilot Michael J. Smith alive and well? Take a look at the footage and let me know what you think. Hey there. Hey, sorry to bother you. I was pulling out and I saw you. I just came by to... Are you Michael Smith?
Yeah.
Professor at university?
Retired.
Retired?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I just stopped by because there's this room. Are you aware of that there's a rumor on the internet?
It's not me.
That people are saying...
Yeah, it's not me, obviously. I mean, anybody that looks at my background, looks where I was born, it's not me. I mean, it's interesting that the Michael J. Smith that was the astronaut looks something like me when we were younger, but really not, if you really look at facial recognition.
You've never been a pilot, never been in the military?
Nothing like that.
Huh.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all.
And I don't respond to the emails I get. I get probably an email, maybe 2 a month.
Really?
Yeah, and I got one guy that's been really hounding me, and I turned it over to the FBI.
Really?
You know, yeah, I mean, it's bullshit.
Okay.
You know, another crazy theory.
Okay.
But that's, you know, not me. I'm glad I wasn't him, but he's quite a guy.
Yeah.
You know, but if you look at my career, you look at my CV that's online, all the stuff I've published, all that I've done, it's not even close to what that guy was.
Okay. Yeah, you just sure look a lot. It's the same name.
I know the facial thing, but that's what we looked like, what, 40 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Voice analysis of the living Judy Resnik compared to the Challenger astronaut Judy Resnik confirms that they are indeed the same person.
I am hoping that the The affliction that Steve Hawley had from the 41D mission specialist of the delays hasn't rubbed off on me.
For a very long arm, which is as long as the cargo bay, it's 50 feet long.
The image lets you see all of the current contemporary issues. All courts shall be open, property remedied by due course of law. You can find these. The equal justice under law becomes that we thought courts were all along. It says equal justice under law.
There are many possible reasons why the crew did not board the Challenger that day. One theory is that the Challenger's final mission was deceptively unmanned due to limited funding and to maintain NASA's position as the world leader in space exploration. Clues uncovered in a documentary produced by National Geographic on the Challenger disaster seem to support this theory.
When Space Shuttle Challenger launches on a January morning in 1986, a key engineer is sure a catastrophe is coming.
We've got to stop the flight. We cannot let Challenger launch, period. This is insane.
He thinks the ship is going to explode. After 2 decades of budget cuts and a loss of public interest, the shuttle has never made good on its promise to provide a routine bus service to space. The 25th shuttle launch will be far more than just another trip into orbit. It's designed to resurrect the entire program. NASA hoped to restore faith in their billion-dollar baby.
And like Krista said, you know, Mom, she said that shuttle, they can shut that down the very last second if anything's wrong.
In the months following the disaster, Morton Thiokol paid the astronauts' families around $4.6 million, but were awarded a $1.8 billion contract to develop a new range of rocket boosters. NASA's Lawrence Malloy was offered a promotion to Deputy Director of all Propulsion Systems.
Now let me ask you this. If you were offered $4.7 million to pretend that your loved one was deceased, would you do it? Of course you would. I think you get the gist of what I'm saying here.